Good afternoon. Welcome to the session for ShipIT 2025 for the Q1 release. My name is Andre. I will lead you through this training and to see, let's say, the first, starters training to have a simplified setup on ShipIT. For the agenda for today, what I want to show you this afternoon in this short session that we have is how we can use the wizard and how we set up providers, what kind of ShipIT setup functions we have, and the basic mapping of the carriers and shipping agents so that you can use ShipIT 365 with Business Central and start basically booking your shipments from Business Central. And that's the last step on this part is just create your first transport order. First step I want to look with you is the wizard. What's specific, what we have on providers at the moment, and I want to show you the basic setup that you can use for using ShipIT with Business Central. Let's get to it. I will change my screen to Business Central and then can start. Good. First of all, extension management. I'll search for the idyn apps. So what we need for installation for ShipIT, of course, ShipIT 365 is installed on the environment. Next to it, you will need the idyn app management for, let's say, analyzing and controlling license and so on. Those two should be installed when you want to use the basic ShipIT. Do you have, for instance, ShipIT in combination with TaskIT? And then you also need the connector for working with TaskIT. And the last that you see over here, Printing 365 is also installed with ShipIT. We have some providers which do not have their own software for connecting, let's say, online printing. So there we have a solution that you can use with Printing 365, and that's for the provider EasyPost and SendCloud. So this is basically the full Monty of working with ShipIT for most of the installations. Basically, the idyn app management, the ShipIT 365 will do what it should do. I changed my role center for now to a ShipIT manager, so you can see all ins and outs that we need for the setup. But later on, for the user itself, they can use it with the sales or the warehouse manager, or sales process for warehouse manager, or other roles in the Business Central. Good. The ShipIT setup wizard. That's where we start for today. We can run the wizard from this part or on that part. Just run it. Nice. Next to the license key that you can get for the trial, or just, of course, buy with subscription. You need to set up some basic things to work with. So we have now step 2 of the wizard. We need the number series for the transport order, so that we can also have a list of transport orders in Business Central. So you create a new number series for the transport orders. The default country where you're going to do your shipments. This currently is on GB, and then we click next. And then basically we are now in the choosing of which provider you are going to use. For this training, I will focus on Nshift Transmart, but we have several providers that can be linked to Business Central and linked to ShipIT for using the portal. So we have SendCloud, we have Nshift Ship, another let's say spin-off of the Nshift delivery of consignor, and we have the Easy Post, just more for the American part of the world. You see on my system, they are all enabled, so basically you can use them all in your setup, but normally you will have one for your normal processes. You will see if you click one and you go to the setup card that you have the provider setup, and the provider setup is different for each different provider. So they have all the own specific settings. So this is Nshift Transmart. So if you will go to SendCloud, you will see that it's a little bit different. And yeah, so you will see for Ship also different, Easy Post also different. So depending on the provider that you choose, you will have to do slightly different setup. Provider specific, you do it in the provider setup. For me, I just focus on the Transmart. It's enabled on this part. Normally for Transmart, you will get, let's say, a contract with Nshift. They will provide a configuration template, Excel sheet with let's say the required carriers. They will set it up on their portal, and after setting this up, we will receive a username, a password, and an account code. With those three, the account code, the username, password, we can set up the connection with the portal of Transmart. After the connection is set, yeah, we'll get an update master data automatically, and we will retrieve. I can do it for now. Doesn't matter. I retrieve the information that we have from the portal, retrieve it into Business Central. After retrieving this, we will have the packages. If it's set up in the portal, we will retrieve the packages from that portal into Business Central, and also we will have the carriers. So these are the carriers for our demo environment at this moment. Basically, all this information is done and created first time in the Transmart portal, and we just fetch the information into Business Central so that we can use it. I will put this away. Also specific on some of the providers, we have the Incoterms that we use. Some providers use them within the booking. Some providers do not have this in the booking, and will be specified in the provider's portal itself. For Transmart, we have the shipping method mappers. Then we need some methods which standard Business Central will map with the Incoterms of the provider itself. Also important what you see over here on this side, we have the conversions. Most of the providers will be, let's say, in kilograms. But if you have, for instance, your items in grams, yeah, you have to be calculating this in a different way for the correct weights in your transport orders. Only one which is different is as you ship, that will be in grams instead of kilograms. So that's just the other way around. So if you go to this one, I don't know if that's visible, but you see also that it's 1000 grams over here. So if you're going to work with one of the providers, just check how the unit of measure of your items is set in Business Central. After the connection, this will be enabled. You can go next, and we will have the possibility to have some defaults. Automatically add one default package. That's something that we can see a little on. That makes it possible to have, let's say, a default package on your transporter or your sales order. For instance, if you have always the same box which you are sending out, it can be easy just to add that default package right into your sales order, so nobody has to do this part manually anymore. We have a map service API key. That's for some gadget that we have on the fact box, that you can see a little map with the pickup location and the destination location, and possibly the routing to the destination. Next to this, we have delivery from and pickup addresses. Delivery from is, let's say, the location, your warehouse location, where you can deliver from certain times, and also your pickup times. So this is all your local warehouse related setup that you use. After this, you basically have everything in place. You can finish it. So basically what you do with the ShipIT wizard is you select your provider, you make the connection with these providers, and you do a basic setup with the things that you need, which you can see back in the ShipIT setup itself. So you see something about the license again. You see your numbering that we just made up. I can scroll down. I can scroll down, yes. Some default settings about your warehouse location, delivery and pickup times. So the first step is now done. You have the information from the portal in Business Central. Now it's time to think about how are you going to process, let's say, your transport orders into the normal process of using Business Central. Some Business Central setup is without warehouse locations. Some Business Central setup is with warehouse locations. So first you have to define how you want to, where you want to create your transport order and how you want to create it. And that's something that we can do in the ShipIT setup. Here are some additional things that we can set up for using the transport orders in the individual way of the client. On the left, you see base transport order, unposted and posted documents is one of the things that is relying also on the process. Do you want to have, let's say, a possibility to create the transport order based on a open sales order or open warehouse document shipment? Or do you want something to do on posted documents? So this means that if you have, let's say, a posted document like a posted warehouse shipment or a posted sales order, a sales invoice that you want to create on the warehouse shipment from that part of the sales shipment at that part. Then you go to your posted sales shipment and then you create your transport order. So these are the settings that you can choose in between, unposted or posted. That's the preferred way to work with Business Central. If you want more or less an automated process, you can do the unposted documents. You see that these are not enabled right now. So this means that you can do a manual process. At the moment that I set it on posted documents, you can do this in steps. So after posting your sales order or posting your warehouse documents, you can say, no, we'll do nothing. So you can do that manually then from your posted documents. Or you can say how to create a transport order. Then the transport order will be created in Business Central, but after that, you have to go to that transport order and adjust and book the transport order. Or you have to create and book transport order. Then there's the attempt. After creating the transport order, it will also be automatically booked in the portal of the provider. And if everything is correct, you will get a track and trace back. And the last one is, let's say, this one, but also attempt to also print labels. So posted documents, you have more automation within ShipIT. Currently, I will do it on unposted documents so that I can just create one from a sales order. Good. Base preferred date on. That's something on the orders itself. How do you want to post your documents? You can do it on a posting date. That's the date of the booking of your warehouse documents or your sales documents, or plan date, and that's on the shipment date that you want to ship your items. We have a function called always new transport order over here. That it is enabled right now. It means that every transport order I create from a sales order or from a warehouse document will be a one-on-one relation. If I will disable this, and I have, for instance, two sales orders for one customer on a certain date within different processes, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. And the first one in the morning is already processed, and there is a transport order, but the transport order is not booked. In that situation, we will check if there is an open transport order, and we'll add this new sales order package basically to that transport order document. So this is something that is basically saying one-on-one or multiple on one transport order. This is just notifications, so I will leave that what it is. Bill to customer, sell to customer. There's for some profiles, we have the possibility to have a different bill and sell to customer in a transport order. This also depending on how your customer is set up. We have background bookings. You can use this if you do not want to book everything in one time. You can make a job queue out of it, and you can prepare your transport orders and make a one-time booking, for instance, in the end of the day. This is something important if you have a lot of shipments on a day, a lot of bookings in a day. For each booking, we will try to update source documents with track and trace information. And if there are a lot of bookings and transport order bookings going on, this can cause lock-ins on the sales side. So you can put this on enabled if you don't want to do this, and do it, for instance, with the job queue in a night session or something like that. Again, the default package, we already have the provider's default package. We can set this up over here. If you set the provider's default package, maybe I should show you directly. Go to the providers, setup card. So we have the default package type that we can set in the provider setup. This does not mean that it is automatically inserted in your sales or your transport order. Therefore, you need also this to be enabled. And this one is don't copy sales order packages. It's now false. It's also something that you can do with the carrier selection on the sales order itself. There you need a package, but sometimes you want just a carrier selection to get a good freight cost price or something on the sales order. But that box is then not needed anymore on the transport order. So it will not be copied if you enable that function. Also, delivery note lines, very important. If you have a lot of export shipments outside of the EU, then you need more information for the customs services, like HS codes and country of origin information. If you enable this function over here, an additional line will add it to the transport order with information of the items which are shipped to the customer. Very important one, also related to customs. A lot of carriers are now, let's say, demanding that they need to know what's in a box. So you will have, let's say, package and content. Then you need delivery lines with packages. And to enable this one, I have now a license in place which allows you to do that. But normally this is grayed out because you have a additional license for this, and you need additional function in your transport order to do this. And basically, this will say, I will show it later on, you can assign your delivery note lines, your items, to boxes. So it's more accurate for weight and it's more accurate for customs. And on the right, some additional things also, which item types there are available to use in your transport order. Copying of shipment information from sales orders to your warehouse documents. Map service providers. There is something new over here. We had in the past only Baymax, and we also have now the Azure Maps to have that fact box available with a mapping with pickup and destination. And also enable beta features, currently working with this one, to have new functionality behind this beta feature. And I guess this is something now, or the delivery note lines with quantity unit of measure. We are going to extend this in the future with other needed fields. Yeah, basically this is very important. So this one, for instance, yeah, that's something that to discuss with the customer how they want it. What do we have more? Shipping cost is not really set up on this level anymore. We can do it on another level. We have loggings that we can set up. So we can see a little bit how we send out the information to the provider and how the response is shown. If the loggings is enabled, all information for warning on errors, you can go and find that log, and you see what's been happening on the postings. You see information about the request and also, if available, the response. And of course, the number series, but that we already discussed. What do we have more for us? This is, yeah, well, sometimes it happens that we have a big change. For instance, if there's a new provider, and sometimes we need some data update. So for each new release that we do, just check our release notes if it's needed or yes or no. Otherwise, it can be that the new version can mess up, let's say, mappings or other things in the system, and which can cause issues. So please first check release notes. Do also a good validation with the new product on an acceptance environment or a test environment before putting this directly on the production environments. Also on the right, some information about our help, some demo movies that you can see. So if you have a trial, you can also a little bit check out what's in the manual and how some things work, for instance, with or without tasked factory mobile scanning devices. Let's see. I see there's some people trying to do a chat. The webinar is recorded. So this will be available for marketing on later basis. The item types is more for the service items that you have. Your item type itself is not really the assembly bombs, but service and normal items. So let's get a little bit back in the setup. So important, first provider setup, then your ShipIT setup. This is the cooperation with the customer. What does the customer want? And if that is all clear, you can do the first steps on creating the mappings and trying to make a posting for your booking. Just still one thing important to show you is this one, user setup. That's where you can set up additional users for packing stations and so on, or if you have additional users in your portal, you can do a setup over there. And that's for Ansible Transmart and Ship for Easy Post. Yeah, you don't have, and Central, you don't have the possibility to do that. And this is also related to printing, also for the Ansible Ship environment. Good. Next step, let's see. Go zoom a little bit back to where we at. So we have the basic ShipIT setup done. Provider setup is done, fixed. Yeah, next step, mapping requirements. What do we need to make that mapping available? And yeah, this is the basics that we need to get, let's say, a transport order connected to a basic sales order or warehouse shipment. So these are the two next parts to discuss. So I was already been telling about the shift to the role center of ShipIT, the ShipIT manager. And basically in the ShipIT manager, you have already the things that you need to set up in one compact overview. So we spent some time on this part right now, but now we are going to dive a little bit deeper. And we're going to the shipping agent mappings, the currency mappings, the country region mappings, and the language mappings. Not all providers will have the same on this. We'll basically now just focus on Transmart, but more or less they need some similar actions, some what more and some a little bit less. Let's start with the shipping agent mappings. There's already one in here. I will create another one for and shift Transmart. So what we basically are doing at this point, I will click new. You see on the left side shipping agent code. That's the shipping agent code from the basic Business Central. So you can create your Business Central code. Yeah, I will take now, for instance, Schenker as a carrier. Next step is selecting the provider that is going to be used with this shipping agent code. Now we'll take Transmart also because that's the one I put in provider setup right now. And I click on the carriers. So in the providers, I just show you a list of the carriers. This list is now shown over here. You see that I already did one mapping. You did see one provider. This is yes. So this one is already mapped. So I will come do the same to this one. And I will do another one. I guess I did see UPS. United Parcel Service. So you see now this one is mapped, this one is mapped, and also will map this one. So this is the first steps. You get the carriers from your provider. The left side, you see your shipping agent codes, Business Central. You map it with your provider. Then you map it with the fetched carriers that you have from the portal. And basically, this is the first part of your mapping. Each shipping agent, each carrier will have its own services, of course. So that's the second step that we need to do. So if we look at the parcel and I go to the shipping agent service mappings, I have already a mapping available. For each new one, I need to make that mapping also available. So I go to the Schenker, I go to the agent service mapping, and then basically on the left side, again, shipping agent service code is empty because this is Business Central. I just created Schenker, but I did not create services for Schenker. So let's have a quick look. What do we have? You can see it. We have standard and premium available. So we can do this on two ways. I can go here and click new, or I just go to shipping agent. The standard shipping agent from Business Central. And also the services. I can do standard. Set them both for one day. So I'll close this standard Business Central. Then I will go back to the mapping, shipping agent service mapping, shipping agent service mapping, and then I will possibly see the premium and the standard. I guess I can do this. Yeah, to delete this first. It automatically says provided transport because the carrier is transport, and then I will map with the fetched service that I received from the provider. So basically, this is just the mapping that we do for each individual provider. And for UPS, it's the same. What do we have? We have more safe and standard. We can do so to just a little bit the same from here. New. Also shipping time 1 day. And standard. We need something to calculate for the shipping time, so we need something there. Basically, we will not know beforehand how much it will take. Sorry, first I have to delete it. Saver and standard. So I can map all 8 if I want to, but I will do 2. So currently I have mapped now 3 services and 3 carriers. So just important to know, this is what the user will see, this part and this part. So if there are long, like this long booking profile descriptions, you maybe have to be a little bit, let's say, cryptical on this part to get the good information for the use, which one they should select on the transport. Back to the first home center of Business Central external mapping. So the shipping agent mappings we just did. We have the currency mappings. If Business Central has a correct setup, you will have your currencies in Business Central, and this mapping will be done automatically. If your currency is not available in Business Central, you have to make this mapping yourself. You will see the currency empty against euro. Yeah, for most of us, that's the one that is important. Local currency is empty, so we map empty against euro or empty against another currency code, depending on the Business Central settings. Same applies for the country region codes on behalf of what we have in the setup on standard Business Central. Can we find that setup? We will also auto set up the country region codes. Be aware if this setup is not there and you do this mapping without this setup, the next time when you do an update master data, this setup is gone. So be sure that you do a correct Business Central setup. Otherwise, you will always have to recreate this information. Also, language mappings also applies over here. If it's there in the system, we can do the automatic mapping. If not, we will not do the automatic mapping. What more can we do on this part? So we do the mappings right now. So we are basically ready to make a sales order and try to book something. We have some other things that we can now address, or maybe a little bit later. I guess we leave that for now. We'll put this up on the end of the session. Let's make a sales order. This is all what it's all about for us. I guess I will just take one. It's one. Yeah, it's on SendCloud. It's old stuff that's in there. Let's see. Take this one. So we just create an item of what we're going to sell for this customer. We have a location. That location is used for the pickup address. I'll just pick one right now. If you are working with the Business Central environment without locations, the location for the pickup address will be coming from the company information. So it's also something to know. If you have a warehouse location, for instance, you will need to go to your warehouse. So you cannot do it from do the create transport order from the sales order. So basically what I just did, I created a sales order. I created a item which I want to sell and ship to this customer. Sales order package is still empty. And that is still empty because the agent in the agent service is not filled yet. So by filling this, I'll just do Schenker. You see that the provider is Shift Transmart. It looks at the provider setup, it's a default package, and it's inserting the default package over here. I'll just take one service. So basically, what is added to the standard business central, the sales order packages part, we have a fact box over here for the transport order data. This part is addition to this one on the sales order. I inserted this at the moment manually, but this is also something that we can get from the customer, of course, because that can be default setup. So if all default is okay, you create a sales order, we have already the box in place, maybe you change something on additional boxes or weight, then you can just create a transport order. Or you just create a sales order and just click create transport order, and you finish it off on the transport order itself. One basic thing I want to show you, not every environment does have this available on Transmart, but you have also the carrier selection function. And there's some setup that you can do on Transmart. And some other providers, you need to do this because then you get, let's say, a reservation of a rate. By Transmart, you have to make a setup additional in the portal. And the carrier selection will show you possible carriers that can do the transport. So I created, let's say, 3 carriers. Schenker, DL was already there, and UPS. You see over here that UPS is already red and negative, so it's not mapped. All of what's in green is mapped, so we can use the green ones to carry out the service. So you see some upgoing things on pricing over here. I will just pick the first one. And then something else, what we can achieve with this is we can set up a mapping, well, not really mapping, configuration in the service that we add a service charge in combination with carrier selection. And that's something that we can do on the customer card. I will shortly go there. Pricing discounts, not in pricing discounts, it's not related. It's over here, invoice discounts. So basically, you can set the service charge over here, and we can also add the freight cost to that service charge. So you can set up additional things to have multiple freight costs added to your sales line. So basically, it was saying it was more than 500 euros, and now we're only adding the €5 from the carrier selection over here. So it's just basically the one-on-one price that we got from the provider. Good. Let's create the transport order. Let's see what we have. I will open the transport order. On the right, delivery now route. The mapping that the API of Bing Maps or in future Azure Maps will be used over there. You see a little bit of what we're going to do with the transport. Based on the information from your sales order on the left, your shipment method, the agent services selected. On the right, you see the warehouse hours, opening hours. I did not do anything about, let's say, the pickup and delivery. It's just one day for now. So I want to have it delivered tomorrow. We have the sales information over here. This is coming from the sales line. If you're using warehouse, you will see that the warehouse is filled over here instead of the order. And your package line is available. And this was talked about was the delivery online. If you have, let's say, an export to a non-EU country, you need additional information. Then we come upon the pickup address. So this is the customer location over here. In this, of course, you can also manage this from here. So if you have, for instance, not an exact location on your sales order, you can always change it over here or make a other location available. Also, something to check beforehand if everything is there, like contacts and so on. Some carriers rely that you have, for instance, a contact name. Some carriers do not care that there is no contact name, so something with testing will come up on your side, that part. Ship to addresses. We have now the customer ship to address over here. This customer datum, but also our datum can have multiple ship to addresses. So also if there's a different ship to address on the sales order, this information will be copied into the transport order. And also there is, this is for Transmart, of course, also the possibility to have a different invoice address than the ship to address. Also, this is a more provider driven. Not every provider will have this available, but Transmart has. So all information from your sales order is, let's say, basically copied to the transport order. So you do not have to retype everything in a different portal. It's just available right now. Then we have some additional things. It's good to mention for now. You see a lot of empty fields over here. We provide those fields in the API, so we have those available. So if you put something manually in one of those fields, it will be sent out to Transmart. But it's not something that we do, for instance, in a mapping to fill these fields from other fields from Business Center. If you want that, you need an additional customizations to do this automatically. But the fields are there in the API, so you can use them manually right now. What more? Yeah, we did the sales order carrier selection, but of course, if it's changed somehow in the process, you have always the possibility to do a new carrier selection over here. But basically, this is the transport order, how it's supposed to be. Then we have, two options left: book or book and print. Also, will be the book. Let's see what happens. It's taking its time. I guess we have an issue with insurance right now. There is no insurance on this part, so don't know what's happening. This is set up on insurance. I will take another one. I hope it's not insured. Yeah, okay. So the other service was basically linked to an insurance that is not set up in the Transmat, so it did not work. Well, this express service did work. You see that it's now grayed out. We have a tracking number over here. We have a tracking URL. We can click that URL. I don't know if you can see this now. No, we can't see. So it's now I redirected to the DLL site where I can see the progress of my shipment. When I go back, you see over here the direct link to the sales order. It's booked and available. I go back to the transport order. I will do the print also, see what happens. Label printed, it will say right now. That means that I'm not, can I go there? Yeah, I can. So when label printed and it is clicked and there is setup for printing to a label printer, it will automatically be printed to that label printer. But what we do also is to have, let's say, your labels available in your transport order. Don't know if it's visible right now in the screen. Just don't think it is. I will share it in a moment. So your label is available within Business Central for reprints if needed. Also, we have that attachment with more information. I can click over here. And so that is going to a different page. Can't see it. We're trying to go there. Please. Stop sharing. So the label is over here, and if needed, there is also the need for a CRM, and that is also going to a different screen. I don't know if you can see it. I guess not. Then I will do it differently. So if it's set up in Transmat, you will also get information about, let's say, additional documents, a commercial invoice, and so on. So that's also all available at Transmat. There we are. Back in Business Central. I do see some questions. Let's see if I can just pick them up right now. I see a question. Is the real price available at the package line? And what do you mean with the real price? Is the real price of the shipment or the real price of the items? Not clear what you mean with this. The cost of the package. Yeah. Of course, it's not the real price, because basically we fetch a price from the provider, but basically then the carrier shows up, picks up, and maybe it can be changed because the weight is not correct, or maybe the length of the lid is not correct. So it's not really the actual price. So it's always an expected price. And there's also a question: if sending a transport order fails, how can I resend it after correction? Yeah, if the transport order fails, you have always the possibility to do a recall and a reset. And then there's the possibility to send it again. So if something changed over here, I don't know what we can change right now, but let's see, it's not 1 kilo, 2 kilograms. You carry selection. Then basically maybe the price is still the same. Maybe I can do it a little bit more kilograms, and you can also see a change. No, does not change for now. But I can also change, let's say, for the carrier itself. I don't know if Schenker can make the booking right now. So basically, I can also do this now, a booking with Schenker. So now it's changed to Schenker. And also can do the print again, label printed on this part. So basically, you can do a recall and a reset, but be aware that there is a certain stages on the provider side where you cannot do that anymore. So you have some time to fix your errors, but at a certain point you cannot do that. I guess it's on label printed that, but in some situations you cannot do a recall anymore. Another question about this: how are the statuses mapped to the status in Transmart? We have some major, let's say, status that we use. We have, let's say, new, we have the booked ones, we have label printed, and then it becomes very silent on our side because all carriers have different sort of statuses inside. So we can do a little bit of mapping, but basically we stop at label printed and we come back when it's delivered, and then the status is done. We have some sub-statuses over here, and also over here are the sub-statuses, and I guess over here you can see some sub-status from the providers for the external source. But if you want to see the real and exact status, you have to go to the portal. Also, if you have, for instance, multiple lines for one package, they can have different statuses. So we will just update the header if all statuses on the package lines are in a certain process, for instance, on done. What you can do, of course, we have the track and trace, but also the open in dashboard. And then again, I will lose my page. Let's see if we can go there. So when I click on that go to dashboard, you will go to the dashboard of your shipment. So you will just open the same shipment that we just created. Also, you see the documents over here. You see some status related things over here. And basically you see the same information that we have in Business Central. It's just one-on-one copy to this environment. Um, There's some two other questions still. Resetting food on the track and trace, but also the license plate. I mean, the license plate on the warehouse, I guess, is something that you can try to reset it again, or I don't know if I can show you in this environment. You can certainly try. I will go back to Business Central again. So the license plate is something from the ConnectIT environment that's coming from the device. And if you lose the license plate, maybe you can try to do the action to do get all packages. I don't know if that works, but maybe you can try that. Yeah, also another question about how the status delivered and done and get the sync back. We have a job queue for that. If you go to the job queues, I think there's a lot of them right now. I guess it's one of those. Edit. This is a cleanup for logs. There's another one, update transport order status, that is automatically created when installing ShipIT. This one will sync, let's say, the portal with Business Central. So if the status is done at a certain point, the sync will pick that one up, and it will also process the Business Central transport order into done. Depending, of course, of your settings, do not do this very frequently. Once or two times a day should be sufficient for most of the shipments. Going to your transport order, of course, you will also see on the list. It's still one. That's not that great, of course. We have only one in this one. Maybe I can go to the archive. Do the same. There's my archive. So there we are. These are the archive transport order. You can manually archive orders which are basically beyond the status of done. So this is now archived. But over here you see, let's say this is also your normal transport order list. You will see this different label printed, done, booked, new. You will see this in this list. Good. So what I can do right now, maybe I can do some automatic processing. We'll combine it with a little bit of warehousing. So for instance, if I just create the sales order and then created the transport order, and I did everything, let's say, manually. So I now will go to a post document and I will create book and print transport orders in one flow. And what I can also do is let's try it with the same customer. I will change one thing for that customer. So we should say, okay, this is always Skanker and always with standard. So you can say customer. I will take the same item also. Instead of the castle, insert the item. You see now there's already a box in place because this is already fetched and copied from the customer card into the sales order. This is already there. So basically, if a user is having more defaulting Business Central, maybe always the same carrier, the same shipping service for some customers. Basically, it's only inserting the item and the dates and so on. Yeah, what we now can do is just create the warehouse shipment. And we can go over the complete process of warehousing. With a little bit quicker. show documents. And I will register the tick. So the tick is done. And you see on this part, I do not have the create transporter right now because it's on posted warehouse documents. So I have now only one thing what I can do is post the shipment. And if everything is correct and all is correctly inserted into the transport order without wrong postal codes or whatever, we will have a transport order created, booked, posted, and also a label printed right now. So this is one-stop process of using ShipIT together with Transmart. So we have the second one in now. You see that it's a different one in warehouse shipment. So basically you can play in how the way you want to have your warehouse processing or your sales order processing combined with transport orders. Also be aware if you have, let's say, this automatic process in place, your master data should be very correct. Otherwise, you will get error by error on trying to book your shipments. I see something about financial bookings. There was nothing financial booked. It's just Business Central that's doing the booking of posting inventory and so on, and posting your sales invoices. But there is no financial thing going on or creating the transport orders. The only thing that is financial about is you will get an invoice from your provider and from the carrier. But there is no, let's say, applying or function back to see if the transport orders are, let's say, basically matching with invoices that you did, which we will get from your providers. Yeah, one thing to do right now is go back to this one. I want to show you one last thing. So it's now all Transmart, of course. The other ones basically they work all the same. Some little adjustments here and there, but I just want to show you something else also. The additional link delivery license packages, the additional license. I will enable this one right now, and then I will go to impose documents, and I will create a sales order. I will put automatic drawing with the freight costs, I guess. Um, and then we'll do the t-shirts. So basically, the change between the package and content and the normal shipment is now I have everything also in place. I have more items that I am going to send, create a transport order over here. And now I have the possibility to add additional boxes. Let's say I add one box. So normally it's assigned now all to one line at the moment. I will assign the first one first. Assign this one. A little bit slow. What I can do right now is say divide content. And I will do the same for the t-shirts. And now I can exactly point out which one is in which box. Red, this one. So I have now two boxes. The calculated weight is different now. It's more accurate what's in the box. We know what's in the box. And in this way, we have full control about what we send out, for instance, to customs. And yeah, also when I will book and print this one, we also have then, let's say, more track and trace information available per box, of course. So it's some mandatory things at the moment for some carriers with exporting shipments. But we have more control over what's in the box and the actual weights and so on. So it's a little bit more work to do. If you have tasked embedded in your system, this will be much easier, of course. To get to the task that you can just very handy assign the correct items to the correct boxes, but also then the calculated weight will be very accurate. So this is, let's say, the additional license which allows you to assign and split and so on your transport order. What can I show you more? I guess for now, to round up a little bit the session, difference between the different providers. So we just did see Transmart things. I don't know if I have some open over here. This one. Yeah, this is also Transmart, so I cannot show you really what's going on over there in this environment. I will change to another one. Let's see if we can go directly, and we don't want to bother you with a lot of new bookings. There's a little bit of the differences between the different suppliers of providers. Let's see if I can find one. For instance, this is a booking with Ship. Once you Ship as a provider, basically it looks all the same. You have the delivery node lines, your package lines, your source lines, you have the pickup address, your ship to address, invoice address, some additional references. So it's basically it's very similar to Transmart. The only thing that is different is a little bit of the setup that you can do. You need to specify exact boxes for exact the shipment service that you have. Another thing that's very important and that you can play with is that for ship you have additional possibilities for your shipments. So this part is really added to the functionality of Ship. But basically that's the only big difference. So if you go to your shipping agents, maybe you can show it a little bit more over here. If I pick out the Ship part, we have one services available over here. We can set different default services on that part. So you have lots of more services for Ship to choose, and each service has its own specific thing that you can set up. Let's see if I can. There's only one available right now, so I won't bother you with that. What else? If you use SendCloud, let's see if we have one for SendCloud. This is one. Do we have one? Yeah, we have one SendCloud. Also takes a little bit of time. The difference between SendCloud and the other ones is also not that big. We will miss additional references and that kind of stuff over here. We have pickup and ship to address information. We have delivery node lines, packages. We have basically the big difference for SendCloud and the other ones. If you do the carrier selection, you can see and add multiple services to one selection. So if I look over here, then I have just one, but I can choose which one I want to use if I have multiples. I don't know if I have one with multiples. Yeah, for instance, over here, this one is the cheapest, so it will get the cheapest. But if you certainly want to say, I want to use this one, you can with SendCloud. So you can defer on your carrier selection level. So the setup is a little bit different on that part. And for EasyPost, the most important thing for EasyPost is that you have to set up your packages individually. So there's no, let's say, configuration of packages in EasyPost for some carriers. So you do this in Business Central. By the way, also for SendCloud, you can do that in Business Central. And you must always do the carrier selection with EasyPost to get the reservation of the rate IDs to make the booking. But EasyPost is just US, so I don't think we have a lot of US listeners today. Yeah, basically we did see everything what I wanted to show you. Let's see. Yeah, one thing left, just to slightly touch it, and then we will end this session. You have the possibility with shipping agent calendars and also just with calendars. So if you have, for instance, a calendar on your location where you say the weekends are not work days, your holidays are there, and so on, ShipIT will take this into account. If you want to create your transport order, and basically together with, for instance, the shipping agent calendars, you can just set up, for instance, that you set certain times that a shipper can pick up your shipments and deliver your shipments with calendars. So you can play with lead times and so on. You can do this individually for each shipping agent in your shipping agent calendars, and also with shipping agent together with shipping agent service, you can also have different shipping services which react differently on your transport information. And basically what it does is changing wow changing this information that you see over here. So you can make it more precise how you want to have your pickups and deliveries to your customers. It's additional. You don't need to use it. Most of, I guess, the customers will maybe work with location and calendars. But if there's some specific that you always have, let's say you can only collect this with this carrier until 12 o'clock, but you have the warehouse pick it up after 12. It will just be not being picked up then today, but it will automatically set up for pickup for tomorrow. So that's the basic function of that shipping agent calendar. Yeah, let's go back to the PowerPoint and see if we covered everything right now. Let's see. The wizard, we did discuss the wizards. That's the first attempt to connect to your providers of provider. The basic shipper setup we did show this afternoon. We did over the shipping agent mappings, the service mappings we discussed. Well, the basic requirements for the created transporter, very, very important. Be sure your master data is correct, and for the auto posting of everything. Also, we did see the sales order or warehouse triggering, how you can proceed with creating the transport orders. The status and job queue, we discussed the packaging content, the transport worksheet. That's also, we did not discuss that one, just short, it's not used very often. I will just go back for the worksheet itself. So if you want to do everything manual, real manual, we have the transport worksheet. Which allows you to just gather all sales lines that are available for transport. So this worksheet allows you to change shipping agents, you change services, methods, and dates. And based on this sheet, there is a possibility to just also create manually your transport orders. So this can be used very, very manually to, let's say, to select all your sales lines that you want to deliver to your customer and put it, for instance, in one transport order or in different transport orders based on some settings that you do on the fields that you see over here. Different dates, maybe different cost center, but something that you can just set up with filtering. So there are some filters over here. You can set up a filter. And this filter, you can say, okay, what do I want to do? I want to look on the sales orders. I want just scanker information in there on a certain location. You can just make that setup, and then you can make worksheet lines from this. I don't know if I have scanker, but I will try. Maybe it will deliver enough. No, I have one. So I have only one scanker line at the moment, and then from here I can just do the create transport order itself. Well, it's not happening right now, but so this is a really manual process. If all other processes will not work for your customer, maybe this one can work for your customer. Back to where are you? There you are. That was the transport order worksheet. Then explained. I don't have any questions. Let's see if we have additional questions. There's some. All of my colleagues already answering some questions. Okay, I guess most of the questions are already answered. So if there are no more questions from the audience, then we'll end this small free training for today. Thank you for listening in, and maybe see you around 4 o'clock, 4:15 for the ApproveIT 2025 training. Thank you. Have a nice day.